Today we are discussing the interview questions and answers for CompTIA Server Plus SK0. You can download the complete list of CompTIA based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Server Plus SK0 is: what are some key considerations when selecting server hardware for an organization's needs? Your answers should be: key considerations include performance requirements, scalability, redundancy, compatibility with existing infrastructure, budget constraints, and future growth projections. Our next interview question is: how do you ensure server security and what are some common security measures you would implement? Your answer should be: server security involves implementing access controls, regular software updates and patches, firewall configurations, encryption of sensitive data, strong authentication methods, and monitoring for suspicious activity. Our next interview question is: can you discuss the importance of RAID configurations in server environments and what are some common RAID levels? Your answer should be: RAID configurations provide redundancy and improve performance for server storage. Common RAID levels include RAID 0 striping, RAID 1 mirroring, RAID 5 striping with parity, and RAID 10 striping and mirroring. Our next interview question is: what are some common server operating systems and how do they differ in terms of features and use cases? Your answer should be: common server operating systems include Windows Server, Linux distributions such as Ubuntu Server, CentOS, Unix-based systems like FreeBSD, Solaris, and hypervisors such as VMware, ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V. Our next interview question is: how do you approach server capacity planning and what factors do you consider? Your answer should be: server capacity planning involves assessing current and future resource requirements, considering factors such as CPU, memory, storage, network bandwidth, and workload demands. It also involves scalability, redundancy, and budget constraints. Our next interview question is: can you explain the concept of virtualization and how does it benefit server environments? Your answer should be: virtualization involves creating multiple virtual instances, that is, virtual machines, on a single physical server. It benefits server environments by improving resource utilization, scalability, flexibility, and reducing hardware costs. Our next interview question is: what steps do you take to troubleshoot server hardware issues and what tools do you use? Your answer should be: troubleshooting server hardware issues involves identifying faulty components through diagnostic tests, hardware logs, and vendor documentation. Common tools include hardware diagnostic utilities, system logs, and remote management interfaces. Our next interview question is: How do you manage server backups and what are some best practices for backup and recovery? Your answer should be server backups should be scheduled regularly, stored securely offsite, and tested periodically to ensure data integrity. Best practices include implementing a backup rotation schedule, using multiple backup locations, and automating backup processes. If you are preparing for any CompTIA based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below.